Marketer of the Day 756. Communicate, simplify, and track your personal finance budget with Certified Financial Planner, John Kennedy.
Hey everyone, John Kennedy here, Certified Financial Planner with CandorPath Financial. Robert Plank and I recorded a podcast earlier this year around the idea of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And we're going to continue that conversation today. So this is specifically for Robert Plank and for Marketer of the Day. But we're going to continue that conversation into probably one of the most dirty words in finance and personal finance, which is budgeting. Nobody likes to do this part. It's not fun. And oftentimes we find that when we feel like maybe we're not so good at something, what do? We try to avoid interactions with that thing that we're not good at. We don't do it. We don't focus on it. And therefore it perpetuates that cycle of us not being good at it. We get even worse at it because we have no practice to it. And so whether you're a retiree, whether you're 30 years old, it doesn't really matter where you are in your phase of life. You have to budget. You have to have good cash flow. You have to understand where your money is flowing. And so the first thing I'd like to talk about is the podcast that we've created. It's called the 3 to Win podcast. It's with myself and two of my business partners, Rich Blooney and Matt Marcoux. And we talk about all sorts of different challenges and struggles that we deal with as individuals, as family men, as business owners. And just focusing on small incremental steps that we can be making to improve ourselves. One of the latest episodes we did was called Fudget or Budget. And it was this idea of the importance of creating a budget and some certain metrics that we want to be focused on. The second thing I'd like to talk about, so I'll provide a link to our podcast, but the second thing I'd like to talk about is a money course that we've created within the 3 to Win show, specifically to kind of help you come up with not only the overcoming some of the psychology behind why maybe we're not good at it or things we can be focused on to help us improve. But in addition to that, actual tangible things that we want to be focusing on. So it comes with a great price point. It's $49.99. But more importantly, for those of you who are listening to this, what I'd like to do is provide a discount and make this course available for just $19.99. So the best way to get in touch with me to enroll in the course, or would be to get in touch with me to enroll in the course at that pricing, is to just shoot me an email. So John, John, at 3towin.co. So John at the number 3 TOWIN.co. So the premise of it, and the big 3 things that I kind of want to talk about today for the Marketer of the Day, is within a budget, there's the focuses we want to kind of place is to 1, communicate about it, 2, create simplicity around it, and then 3, track it. So let me just unpack that a little bit. When it comes to communication, a lot of times I think most people associate that with, talking with your spouse. Like we want to make sure we're having conversations, we're transparent about what our goals are and all that type of stuff. But it doesn't have to be that. It could be a mentor. It could be a financial planner, someone that you're working with. It could be a friend, but having these discussions is really helpful. And as it relates to a spouse, out of the 3 main reasons for divorce, communication and money are the top 2. So we want to try to help create conversations around this so that we're able to have really a better relationship. I mean, with my spouse as an example, we talk about our budgeting on a monthly basis. Sometimes we set intentional time aside. Sometimes it just happens when we're in the car and we have some time together. When our kids are like napping in the car. We have 2 little kids, so it's hard to have money conversations these days with 2 kids. We're always busy. But isn't that just kind of everyone's problem though, right? Like, we're all busy. Life gets in the way. There's, between work and your career, your families, this is something that can often fall by the wayside. So creating some intentionality around that, we think is just really useful. Beyond that, we talk about simplifying it. So you don't want to get bogged down with these details of tracking every single penny. It's like January 1 rolls around, we create all these New Year's resolutions. What happens with people? They say like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym 7 days a week. I'm gonna eat chicken. I'm gonna eat broccoli, and I'm gonna get uber fit. And by day 15, you've fallen off the wagon because that is not sustainable. So we don't want to do something that's going to backfire on us. We want to create, maybe talk through some goals, create simple steps like making something attainable for you in the next 90 days. If budgeting and talking about money isn't your strength to begin with, if we create these lofty goals for 1, 3, and 5 years from now, which I'm not against goal planning by any means, but that's going to be overwhelming initially. So let's focus on some smaller steps, like in the next 90 days, which I really believe there's a lot of studies that show, the human mind is really only capable of processing things within the next 90 days. So we create these short stints of goals we want to create. It could be paying off your credit card in the next 90 days. It could be increasing your savings to, X in the next 90 days. Might even be, and a really good one, just aside from all this, is coming up with a strategy of not using your credit cards for 90 days, which is so impactful for so many reasons. But if you think about it, when you use a credit card, you're disconnected from the purchase. So you've got 30 to 45 days whenever the statement balance is due, if you even pay the full statement balance in full, to deal with the decision that you made today. And so you're kicking that can down the road. So using a debit card or cash really connects you to your spending habits. It really makes you in tune with how much or how little you're spending. And so if you want to really gain control back of your spending and your budgeting, just don't use a credit card for 90 days just to see how that feels. I think that's a great exercise. Also, by the way, there's a lot of studies that suggest on average, an individual will spend roughly 20% less when they're connected to the purchase and they use cash or a debit card as opposed to it going on a credit card. And if you think about it, like logically, that's true. I mean, a lot of people would tell me like, I don't want to give up my points. Like I love my points. I need my points. And that's great. But that whole point system is designed to get you to do what? One thing, which is spend more. So simplicity is really important. We don't want to overcomplicate this conversation. And then last but not least, we want to track it. It could be honestly as simple as old school pen and paper, get it out, write it down on a sheet of paper and understand where all of your expenses are flowing. It could be a little more comprehensive, like an Excel spreadsheet, or honestly, in today's world, there's just no excuse to not use technology in our favor in this way. Having some kind of app that can digest all that information and tell you as a percentage of what you make, how much goes to, how much is going towards restaurants and how much is going towards groceries and stuff like that. That's really important. And when it's all said and done, you've talked about it, you've created some goals around it that are simple and attainable for you. And then as you track it, this all ties together to really help you create some automated systematic rules around how you're spending and how you're saving. So like in our household, at the beginning of every week, we have a certain dollar amount move into another checking account, which we have a debit card associated with. And that's our daily spending. That's our variable bucket. That's groceries, that's dining, that's gas and tolls. It's the things that on a day-to-day basis we expect that we're going to spend, but it's variable. It could go up and it could go down, but it keeps us so in tune with what we're spending. And on that same note, on a monthly basis, we have money move into various savings buckets that we're trying to save for. It could be fun. It could be a vacation. It could be a home improvement project. It doesn't always have to be about saving for the long term. Of course, we advocate that a ton, but we want to take this in baby steps. So the three important things that I'd like to focus on today: communicate, simplify, and track it. And then beyond that, we really unpack these ideas, not only in our podcast, the 3 to Win podcast, but also in this money course where we try to come up with, as I said, discuss through the psychology of it, but in addition to that, come up with some actionable things through a series of videos and training steps that we've created. So would love for you as a listener of Robert Plank's podcast, would love for you to join us on that journey. Feel free to email me, john@3towin.co, and then we'll give you that special pricing. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening to me today.
If you're a future podcaster, new podcaster, existing podcaster, or you're looking to make more money with your podcast with less time, you owe it to yourself to check out doneforyoupodcasting.com. We handle any or all of your podcasting needs. Go to doneforyoupodcasting.com right now.